Welcome to another episode of the Grindhouse Podcast. I'm your host, Edwin Cabrera, aka Steady Eddie. Across the screen from me is my homie, my day one, Chris Martin, aka Critta.
What's up?
So it's just us two talking today with a little sidebarsing today.
A little sidebars action.
Some news. A lot of news actually happened this week. A lot of not important news / some interesting news happened. But a lot of random shit happened this week.
A lot of random shit.
Talk about that. We also got some album reviews for you guys. We listened to some like bigger name artists like Nas, and Big Sean released projects. So we're gonna talk about that. Now You See released a project in July that we're gonna talk about. We just finally kind of came around to listen to the whole project. We're gonna talk about that. You want to get into it?
Where do we want to start? Do we want to start with the news? Do we want to start with album reviews? I think let's start with
let's start with news because I actually want to get this out of the way before I forget. I just literally found out about this. So this goes out to all you artists, especially I'd like to see some sort of Massachusetts artists, somehow get selected to be a part of this. But like I just found out that United Masters is teaming up with NBA 2K21, and they're going to be doing unsigned artists, like on the 2K21 soundtrack. And that could be huge for whoever makes it on, obviously, because 2K is like a lot of people's like life and blood. So like that could be a potentially huge opportunity for any sort of unsigned or underground artists. And so I'm just letting you guys know, if you guys are interested and you guys are musicians and you guys want to somehow get a chance to get on the 2K21 soundtrack, what you guys want to do is download the United Masters app, and then through that you can actually submit your music to be considered for the NBA 2K21 soundtrack. So
one question: Do you have to work with United Masters in order to be part of it?
That I don't know. I guess you have to find that out once you actually like download the app and figure out the eligibility rules. I don't know that much. I literally just found out about it like five minutes before we came on, and so I figured that could be some good news for some potential artists who making bangers, who wants that banger to be on the 2K21 soundtrack. That'd be sick. I could have definitely imagined some rappers being on that. So we'll see. Yeah. Hopefully somebody from Massachusetts represents.
Yeah, we have plenty of talent here that could definitely be on a game like that. So
for sure.
That we'll definitely we'll put that in the description. You guys can check it out.
Yeah. All right. What else is happening?
Cool. Lots of new stuff. Kendrick was seen recording a new music video in LA. So it might be getting new Kendrick album.
Well, I would say, I hope it's a new Kendrick album because we've been waiting since 2017. I mean, he released the Black Panther soundtrack. That was kind of like mostly his album, but like we haven't got new Kendrick in a while, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. I don't know if you saw the clip, but like he's like in the ocean hovering around like motherfucking Jesus, above water and shit. So I can only assume it's gonna be content-wise some sort of like heavy spiritual shit, coming from Kendrick, especially during these times. I'm waiting for that Kendrick heat. I'm waiting to get fucking amped up.
We need a new Kendrick album. I think we're overdue for it. When do you think it would come out?
Fall. I think him and if I was a betting man, I would say that Drake and Kendrick are both releasing albums. Probably. They always say, I mean, honestly, I think people usually say Q1 is when like the bigger artists release albums, and which is absolutely possible. But sometimes I feel like you gotta sometimes people just drop it when they feel like the time is right. And so for Drake, for example, like for whatever reason, he loves the month of October. Like that's his I think his birthday is that month. It's like he reps. I don't my birthday's in February. I don't rep February. I'm not over here repping February like it's my boy. But with Drake, he loves October, and I know he's got something in a tuck just because he's been releasing some things. Like usually when Drake is releasing, things with like DJ Khaled and singles and like this whole like demo
it's a
tape thing that he
precursor
released.
for
Usually
sure.
that means there's a bigger project coming up. And so I'm guessing, if I was a betting man, that Drake is going to release something in October. And I'm hoping Kendrick doesn't wait until Q1 to release his shit. And I hope that he releases it now, because I feel like now is when we need Kendrick. We can't wait. I think people, especially considering the fact that the election is in November, and who's to say like what the landscape will be after. But right this second, we're burning for some Kendrick music. We're burning to be feeling empowered and look within ourselves and kind of give, like, Kendrick is really good at allowing yourself to be introspective while like listening to his music, because he's so introspective. And I feel like that's exactly what we need right now. We need something to, like, I don't know, help us march into the voting booths and make some change. And so I'm hoping that that's kind of what Kendrick is setting himself up for. So hopefully he releases his project sometime. My guess would be sometime hopefully in October, but maybe that may be too soon. I mean, who's to say? But if Drake and Kendrick drop in October is going to be a crazy month of music.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. The labels do this where, the Q1, for some reason, just their numbers tend to do way better in Q1. And also a lot of the times it's leading up to the Grammys and also end of the year. So like people remember your album closer to the end of the year. So yeah, I just think it's a combination of stuff, but yeah. So yeah, hopefully those albums drop in October.
What are your guesses for the content of Kendrick's album, just based off of that like little snippet of him like floating like Jesus on the beach?
I don't know, man. Maybe some sort of religious thing. I don't know, man. Maybe it could be, symbolic for him. I mean, I would say he's like the rap god, so something like that. Yeah.
You think he's gonna be just bragging about being rap god like Eminem?
I don't know, man.
I think that would be the wrong time for that.
That's what I'm saying.
Right
so
now.
It's definitely curious, what he plans on doing. But
I think I'm gonna guess. We're all guessing here, but I'm gonna guess that it has something. It's probably gonna have a more religious kind of undertone, because we all know Kendrick is a religious person. I think it's probably gonna talk about some sort of redemption, and obviously empowerment, and I think that's something you can always expect is some form of empowerment, either through self-awareness and understanding, or some of his like higher, like, charting, like Damn, for example, is more like, that's more of like a louder, we gonna be all right, like a more anthem type of record that people can get behind. But I'm definitely, empowerment is definitely going to be somewhere in there. I think maybe some sort of redemption. I'm thinking just like, in terms of like, I don't know. I just feel like maybe that's like something that he can cover, just being, redeeming yourselves, even if you're not have been perfect in the past or whatever. Like I can see him kind of getting behind something like that and being like, this is the time now to step up and be your best self. I would hope that he delivers some sort of message like that, so people can really feel like, like whether or not they've been perfect in their life, now is a good time to take, charge and be a leader and make change. So we'll see what he's got for us. I'm definitely waiting.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely pumped for it. I'm pumped for Drake. Yeah, man, I feel like this year we've had some great records come out, so why not add a Kendrick and Drake album? So
yeah, man, it's been overdue. I mean, not for Drake. Drake has been releasing something steadily, but for Kendrick especially, man, like,
yeah,
we need it. We definitely need it. The world is hurting right now.
Yeah, no, definitely, for sure. Cool. So what do we want to talk about next year? I feel like we got some big stuff, and then we get just some smaller stuff that isn't like.
Let's get the quicker shit out of the way first. I'm looking at Tory Lanez I don't feel like I'm going to talk about Tory Lanez for too long, so I feel like let's update on that.
Yeah. There's not much to it right now, but yeah. So Tory Lanez, obviously he was in the news recently, last week about his streaming numbers. He got called out about his streaming numbers being lower than they were before, and obviously he like responded. So.
Yeah, so that's kind of ridiculous because we've been waiting since hearing about the whole Megan Thee Stallion shooting. We've been waiting for Tory to come out and say something. And he's been quiet as a church mouse. Hasn't said a fucking word. Just been quiet the whole time, laying low. You know, and then, you know, obviously Meg, because of how quiet he's been, Meg comes out. At first it seemed like she was kind of like, you know, just like caping for him, just like watching out, like not saying too much because, you know, obviously that's a huge charge against Tory, in you know, against, for, police reasons, but also like in as a musician, like that's a whole career shit right there. Like you just like throw your career away. So I feel like, you know, she was kind of riding with him a little bit, not saying anything. But I feel like because Tory didn't say anything, she felt the need to really, and also, you know, with that whole instance, like Tory not saying anything is just opening people up to like, you know, with rumors about what's happening, which pissed off Meg Thee Stallion. And, you know, she finally came out and said, yeah, Tory shot me. And she said it, you know, for everybody to hear.
Yeah.
Still nothing from Tory. Absolutely nothing from Tory. And then last week, Hot New Hip Hop decides to like, you know, put this like info out that like his streaming numbers are down by like 40%. And instantly, it's almost like he like day of, he like sends them a DM telling them like, no, that's not true, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So he's obviously
like he's seeing this shit. He's seeing it on
social media.
Yeah.
It's not like he's avoiding, he's like in some dungeon somewhere, like hiding up from the cops, like with no internet access. He knows what's happening. And actually, I think before that, he like liked somebody's tweet that was like kind of like promoting like victim shaming Meg. So,
oh really?
You know, yeah, it's a like tweet, and I'm not sure, like, you know, I'm not really sure what goes into that, but I'm pretty sure like that has been the only two social media interactions he's had since the whole shooting thing happened.
Yeah.
He's been quiet as a church mouse. Finally, this article comes out, and he decides that this is the right time to come out and say something. You know, pop his head out of the fucking, you know, pop his head out of the hood and say something. And then obviously people feel some type of way because we've all been waiting for a response from him, you know, figuring out if we should cancel his ass or not. And by now, most people have already assumed that he's, you know, exactly what Meg said, you know, which I'm riding with Meg, obviously. We've already talked about, like, you know, the fact that we're both riding with Meg. But, like, you know, you haven't said anything, so you're guilty by the silence that you're practicing. And so most people by now already assume that he did exactly what Meg said, and that there's no, like, you know, there's no other story besides the fact that he fucked up. And so anyway, you know, people are obviously pissed off the fact that he can come out and say something about his streaming numbers, but can't say something about the fact that he shot a woman. You know? And so I think
that's the thing is like sorry, my mic is making no sound. All right, cool. Yeah, I mean, I just like, if he like, do you think things would be different if he just had come out?
No.
And took ownership of the situation rather than like being completely silent.
It's a lose-lose, honestly. It's a lose-lose. Yeah. You don't shoot a woman and get away with it, even if you own up to it. It's a lose-lose. But it shows you're more of a man if you did come out and owned up to it. Yeah, absolutely. You made a horrible mistake. If he had come out immediately and said he made a terrible mistake, like, you know, whatever, you know, and as a man, I gotta step up and accept, you know, my, you know, what I've done wrong. Yeah, people might view him and accept an apology from him, and hopefully, like, you know, if he says, like, you know, this is the typical PR shit, you know, like, if you get in front of it like that and then say, like, you're gonna work on, you know, trying to be a better person, maybe you'll go to a rehab or some sort of, like, I don't know, some sort of meeting with counseling or whatever. People can accept that as an apology, and people have, you know. I know Chris Brown doesn't have the career he was projected to have, but, you know, he's been able to sort of, like, you know, come back, you know, and continue to make music.
He's still on songs. He's still doing his thing.
Yeah. You know, but that comes with a certain level of, like, culpability. And if you're, you know, wasting away, hiding for days on end, months on end now, or at least it feels like it's been months on end, without saying a word, you lose that opportunity to get in front of it and be like, I really fucked up. I clearly have issues going on in my head that I need to work through, and I put a woman's life in danger, and I should have never done that. Like, it's a whole different thing now.
It did come out that, you know, he sent her a text like later on that night apologizing and that he was drunk.
He sent it later on that night.
Yeah, it was like I think it was like 15 hours after the incident. Yeah, that came out today. So yeah, I mean there's his guilt right there.
He was drunk. That's a terrible excuse.
Yeah.
What an excuse.
Stupid.
And over text too, like you're fucking like breaking up with a chick over text. Like, I mean, I'm assuming he probably called her a bunch. She didn't pick. I would hope that he called her first as opposed to texting her. You know, but I'm assuming, you know, she was pissed off at him because he, you know, he shot her. So I wouldn't answer the phone either. But the you know, the text thing is pretty funny because it's like, you know, using the excuse that you shot a woman and you're texting this person.
And then you're texting about it?
Oh man. Like, oh my God.
The fuck?
What a mess. What a mess.
That's bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's all bad.
Yeah. Yeah, but, it's terrible. It's terrible. I feel like the PR team right now is just like, they can't even figure this one out.
Like, how do you bounce back?
Let this die down. Hide for like a couple years. Let this die down. They're like stumped. You know, he got himself into a possible situation to get out of. And now he's like, you know, I wonder who leaked those texts, by the way. I wonder who was the one that leaked the text.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But
there's only two people.
I mean, probably
text, right? There's Megan and there's Tory. And they probably sent it out to other people. So I wonder from which camp sent this text out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It could be Tory's camp kind of leaking the text and being like, let's see how the public reacts to this. And then based off of that, we can come up with a little spinaroo, you know, and figure out what we're going to say to the public, you know, kind of like temperature checking real quick before they actually put up their statement. I don't know. But I'm curious.
That could be it. Yeah. Yeah, definitely curious to see what happens with this. But I think it's a good segue into do you want to talk about WAP?
No. Is that a good segue for WAP? Oh yeah, because Meg's on that.
Meg's on that track, so
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's like we put this up there because we just found it funny, the reactions, the public reactions to the song. Like people are like mortified by the lyrics. I've seen a lot of like videos on like Instagram and stuff like that of people's like you know, parents like listening to it in the background and then being completely shocked by the lyrics. So we figured we'd chime in with our, you know, two dudes who know nothing about women chiming in on a song made seemingly for women, because no guy's gonna, you know, well,
you're not gonna bump this in your car.
I don't know. That song was making me hot when I was listening to it. I was gonna mustard, honestly, like on my walk.
You had to pull over.
You know, gotta hide the boner as I'm walking. You know, like, because Cardi's talking mad sexy in the song. You know, she's talking mad, and she's talking about sex, man. It's a song, man, but it's not a song I'm gonna listen to in front of people. I'm afraid of my little guy popping up when I'm listening. You know? But what was I gonna say? Yeah, man. Some people are completely mortified, and so I guess my question to you, Critter, is like, how do you feel like the song went too far?
No, because like I don't know, man. Like think of songs from like when Eminem was like at his prime and like putting out all this like really offensive shit. It's like,
yeah, oh yeah,
you know what I mean? What's that dude's name that I can't think of his name? Oh, fuck, Ben Shapiro. He said something that like a wet ass pussy is like it's a medical condition. Like, dude was clueless about like it's hilarious.
Wow.
Like, it's like, what?
I feel bad for his wife.
Yeah, it's like it's laughable. But yeah, I mean that dude sucks anyways. But yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I'm obviously like, hip hop, man, like a lot of things fly in hip hop. If we're gonna draw a line in the sand when it comes to women talking about sex, yo, like there's a lot of really fucked up shit on records that I've listened to from men and women, but mostly men. Like, I mean, if we're gonna
Yeah,
draw the line at talking
well,
about
that's the
wet ass
thing. It's
pussy, like
yeah,
what about like, you know, black on black violence, like the whole like killing people and like bragging about it. Like, let's talk about like some of the rapey songs that like that artists have put out. There's a lot, like even like you said, Eminem, like Eminem raps about killing women,
like murdering
but
people and
if you're
rape
gonna
and
draw a
shit.
line in
Like
the sand
it's
at WAP, like, all right, like
yeah, you're upset about
what goes on
women
the
talking
other
about their
side of
vaginas.
yeah.
Like
Hip
who
hop has
cares?
never been PC. Hip hop has never,
Yeah,
you know,
and it's like why would it start now? You know, like why would it start
at
in
WAP.
2020?
WAP was the one that took it too far.
Yeah, that's what put it over the edge. Was talking about
Uh,
WAP.
and you gotta think. I think Meg Thee Stallion was a stripper. I know Cardi was a stripper. This is a song meant for strip clubs. This is a song that's clearly has a market. Like people are gonna listen to it because obviously Cardi and Meg are two huge artists. But
Yeah,
both these women have a background in stripping. They make music
yeah.
for the strip club. They know their audience. That music is gonna go off in a strip club. You know what I'm saying? For sure.
Yeah,
It's
and
a
also has
very
like
sexy
a
song. I can imagine strippers being able
yeah.
to dance very sexy to it.
What well
It's
they
gonna
have
go.
like a dance for it or
Yeah.
whatever, like in the
Yeah, you want to
video.
do the dance? Show us the dance.
No, I don't have enough space in my place. That's the only reason.
Hey, you mentioned it. I haven't seen it personally, so you got to show it to me.
You're gonna watch the music video.
All right, all right. I haven't gotten
It's
around.
like a new TikTok fad now. Everybody's doing the WAP dance.
All right, I gotta watch the music video now. 'Cause I haven't. I admittedly haven't seen the video. I know what it. I've seen clips of it, and I guess like that wasn't like I said. That's not a really the song I'm checking for. So I'm not trying to get a boner when I'm listening to music. Uh, but like anyway, yeah, I feel like that's like that song is definitely appropriate for a strip club atmosphere, and I feel like that's what kind of the target is. That
Yeah.
that kind of clientele, that kind of lifestyle, and they're both former strippers, so they're making songs about shit that they know about. I don't see what the problem is here. I really don't. You
No,
know,
I don't either.
I'll say this, and this comes from my background. I majored in communications. I went to UMass Amherst, majored in communications. One of the big things, like in that like major, this is I guess for all the potential students trying to go to college. If you're listening to this, like the UMass communications department is great in terms of like being super liberal, super like woke, and so like actually there's like a lot. I learned a lot about like just like influence, like being an influential person and marketing and how marketing works, in connection with psychology. And I would say, I guess if I'm playing devil's advocate, and I guess parents are like, you don't just have a kid and you'll see that this is a bad song. But like, yeah, I guess like if kids are listening to the song, it adds to the sexualization of this culture,
Mm,
and the
yeah.
fact that it promotes like sexual liberation, which is great, but at the same time, people are worried because their kids may be exposed to, this kind of like influence and that's sexualizing, it's a big thing now with the whole like, there was a Netflix documentary that came out that completely forgot what the movie was called, but there's a whole thing with sexualizing the culture and sexualizing the youth and so on and so forth. Yeah, I feel like if you want to make that argument, I'm not going to argue against that because I'm definitely sure that some like young impressionable minds are listening to this music and now they want to pop their pussy and whatever the fuck. But the same thing can be said like I said, hip hop has never been PC. You can say the same thing about gangster rap music and how that influences people to
Yeah.
want to go out and shoot a gun. Like it's the same shit. So if like, where do you really draw the line when it comes to hip hop music? Like it's always been a free to say what you fucking feel kind of genre, and you gotta accept all these different subsects. There's different like sections and different niches in hip hop. You got to accept that there's music being made for strip clubs, and this is it. And a major artist like Cardi B, that's where she came from. That's where she was birthed in. So it's like that's WAP. you know, she's just speaking to who she is.
Yeah, that's,
you know,
that's her art. That's what she wants to talk about. So, yeah. So yeah, but keep doing your thing. That's fine. Cool. Do you want to talk about the Joyner Lucas song with Ashanti?
Speaking of, oh my God, speaking about another video that I couldn't watch because it was just making me all flustered. Dude, they were making out heavy in that.
Yeah, they like sucking tongues.
I want to see the treatment for what that video was. So we're gonna make out right here. I'm gonna grab you and stick my tongue down your throat. Like it was a lot of. Are you watching the video right now? You freaking creep. What are you looking at? Stop looking at the video.
I'm texting.
Are you texting in the middle of? Stop texting, you ass. So yeah, the video, the treatment for the video is like them, like, I mean, not the treatment, the video itself is like them, you know, they're fighting like a couple. It's very dramatic, but they're also having very passionate moments. And it was Ashanti as the lead in the video. Ashanti was my childhood crush when I was a kid. I mean, she was my like number one. My number one was Aaliyah, rest in peace.
Dude,
and then like
Ashanti has not aged
up there.
much. She has not aged much at all.
Oh, she's beautiful still. She's absolutely
like
gorgeous.
I was like, dude, she pretty much looks the same as she did. Like
she looks great. She looks great in that video. And apparently, I forgot how old Joyner is. He's probably like a couple years, maybe a few years older than me. But apparently, he was, you know, Ashanti was high on his list of childhood crushes. Because Joyner's doing this thing where he's just like, he's like
living his like dreams, man. Like,
yeah, he's living out his like childhood teenage dreams. Because like a lot of the shit that he does is always like connected to like shit that was like big in like 03, 04. Like Ashanti, like having Ashanti in your music video, making out with her crazy. I'm guessing they could be dating because like I don't think you can make a video like that.
After a video like that, it's like, I don't know, man. There's probably something there.
They seem like they were both into it. I don't know. Like there was some crazy chemistry there. There was some crazy chemistry there. So I wouldn't be surprised if we find out that Ashanti and Joyner are dating, and Joyner is just living out everything that he wanted to be when he was like 17. You know, that's what it looks like. Like how he bigs up all these, like, which I love. Like he bigs up all the old head rappers, not that old, but like, you know, all the rappers that he grew up listening to. You know, like putting a video with Ashanti, like pretty much, you know, like do everything short of having sex on camera. Like it's, you know, he's living out his dream. Shout out to Joyner, man. Massachusetts, Worcester cat, just living out his dreams.
Doing his thing.
He's doing his thing. He just went platinum today. I think his song "I'm Not Racist" and the song with Ashanti went platinum today. I guess he has 4 platinum singles. Shout out to Joyner, man. He's the creme de la creme when it comes to Massachusetts hip hop.
Definitely. But yeah, definitely an interesting video. I definitely was not expecting that. But yeah, man, it's all good. Do your thing.
How'd you feel about the song?
I thought the song was okay.
Yeah.
I didn't like love it, but
yeah,
it was okay.
I don't think it was my type of record. Like I think this is more of a record for women to kind of get behind. Yeah. Or people in relationships that kind of like can really relate to, you know, that, you know.
I feel like Joyner really hasn't like done songs like that, so like maybe that's why he like ventured into like trying to do something different.
Yeah, I still think my favorite album is the one with the 508. I forgot what his phone number is, but like the album with this phone number is for me still one of my favorite albums. That one is like, you know, and I don't even think because he said like his first debut album was his most recent album. I don't know what 508 was, but that to me was an album. That was an album because it showed you who Joyner was. It kind of like showed you his background, his struggles, like voicemails from different people in his life, and a story that you really got to understand, you know. I don't know why he never acknowledged that as an album. I don't know if he's what he's calling it, but that for me has been his best release so far that I really kind of gravitated towards. But you know, this new single's I'm curious to see you know, like where he goes from here. You know, after this album, the most recent one that he released, and this video, I'm curious to see where he goes from here. It seems like it's going in a more like not like hip hop direction. Sorry, somebody's calling me. So yeah, I'm curious to see where he's gonna bring it, because I kind of want. I hope that this is not the beginning of like only getting like the radio friendly joiner hits. I really hope it's not.
Yeah, so let's move on. Do we want to talk about let's talk about the Joe Budden thing last on the news?
Cool. Let's talk about Mickey D's. Let's talk about
Yeah.
Mickey. Let's talk about Mickey D's. I just added that actually today because it was like crazy. People were like, I've been seeing so many videos of people like going to
mobbing,
McDonald's, ordering the It's Lit sandwich or whatever the hell it's called. The Cactus Jack sent me like all this stupid shit. Like people are just like loving this whole like Travis Scott McDonald's thing. I'm still like kind of like that old head that like sees something like this, and I think because for me it's like with McDonald's, which is like, you know, I see it as selling out in my opinion. I think it's completely selling out.
Yeah,
No
I mean,
question.
When you think of like corporate America and you think of like capitalism, that's McDonald's. Like
and I think about, you know, it is not like I'm a hypocrite because I eat McDonald's, but I'm not proud to say that I eat McDonald's. I don't eat McDonald's every freaking day, but like I'm not, I go to McDonald's every now and then craving a Big Mac, but McDonald's is also one of probably like the biggest, like, I'm not knocking McDonald's as a franchise or whatever like that. They're doing their thing. Their come up is crazy, but like it definitely contributes to like the obesity in America, and especially obesity in neighborhoods of color, because like the sandwiches are affordable, but at the same time, like it's like they put crack in their food because it makes you just want more. So I see it as selling out, because obviously, like, when you get in the check, I mean, I think it's a come up for Travis, obviously, like it's great promotion for him. And obviously it speaks to a lot of like hip hop in terms of like the rise of the culture now that like these mainstream corporate entities are getting closely connected with individual artists.
Yeah. I mean, like kudos to his like team for like doing like something like this, because it is different from, you haven't seen a rapper do that.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at like, his performance in like the Fortnite game.
Yeah.
Like super cool. Like, so yeah, I mean, I don't hate on it, but it's definitely not something that I'm like.
I kind of hate on it because like I just like I said, like McDonald's. I mean, I'm sure that's a crazy check.
Yeah.
But at the same time, McDonald's is like, I mean, if I was imagine like 10 years from now, I'm like doing a McDonald's commercial. But like, I mean, if I was like a big celebrity, I don't think McDonald's would be some a corporate entity that I'd like to like align myself with, just because like the obesity issue, man. Like the fact that like, McDonald's is like contributes a lot to the obesity problems and the health problems, in a lot of poor neighborhoods. I'm not like solely blaming McDonald's for that, but like I don't know if that's like a thing that I'd like to kind of, be associated with. But at the same time, I guess I'm more conscious on that level that like that shit kind of bothers me. Like Travis probably doesn't give a shit about it. I mean, I think I remember, if I'm not mistaken, he was gonna do the Super Bowl last year, the year before that.
I thought he did it, right?
Did he? Did he perform?
Yeah, no, he did.
He did. Okay. Yeah. And there was a lot of people in hip hop trying to talk him out of it because, making a stand for Colin Kaepernick. So I don't expect Travis Scott to have the morals that, the principle that I have when it comes to this shit. I don't expect, a lot of rappers to have the integrity, that I feel like, I expect, like, people like Kendrick and stuff like that. Like, some people were just about chasing the bag, which is like all power to them. I personally, I see it as selling out. I didn't love it. I think the whole promotion sucks. The burger is pretty much like the same McDonald's burger you would get.
Like what is it? Is it like a meal or some
slice of cheese and maybe a little higher end bacon, but everything else is the same. And then it's like a Sprite. I think the whole meal consists of Sprite, barbecue sauce, fries, and a burger with some bacon and an extra slice of cheese underneath and on top of the burger patty. That's all it is. It's not even like a crazy new concoction.
Yeah, it's nothing insane. It's not like groundbreaking.
If I had a McDonald's sponsorship, You know, let's say we have the Steady Eddie sandwich. You know what's gonna go on that shit? You know what's gonna go on that shit? It's gonna be both.
It's gonna
I
be a
love chicken
boiled
sandwiches. I
patty.
love me some chicken sandwiches, but I want it to be both the chicken sandwich and the burger patty. But what's gonna be different about it, and this is nothing new, but it's different in terms of ordering it on the menu. It's gonna have bacon on each, so you know, burger patty, chicken patty with some bacon, obviously some cheese, you know, everything else, lettuce, tomatoes, whatever. Throw that mac sauce on it, that delicious secret sauce on both the sandwiches, plus fries in the sandwich, plus fries in the sandwich.
And
That's
you also have to use a code word to be able to order it.
Because you know, I love that, you know, putting fries in my burger. I just hate the fact that I'm taking individual fries from my fry carton to be able to do it. What if the fries already came on the burger so you can enjoy your fries and have fries on your sandwich?
So yeah, Travis Scott, don't steal Steady Eddie's idea.
So Travis Scott's burger was lame. It's pretty much the same old shit. It's nothing new. It's like a piece of bacon and an extra slice of cheese. There's nothing to it. Nothing. Sorry to trash your burger, Travis.
I just love all the hype and all the like craziness, and it's just like a very simple.
It's like a slice
burger.
of chicken bacon. Like, dude, that's not even like out of the box.
Like you go to Wendy's and that's like a normal thing that you get.
Nor do I think Travis Scott was the best person to use in a promotion like this. Yeah, maybe he's a big artist and that's why you use him. But honestly, if I was McDonald's, I would have hit up Action Bronson. That's a man who knows his food. I would have had Action Bronson concoct his own sandwich and actually made a promotional.
And you know he would have made something insane.
Because like that Travis Scott sandwich looks exactly how it is, because Travis Scott, he's a scrawny dude. He looks like he doesn't eat much, you know? So he's probably like, yeah, you know, like, you know, just, you know, whatever. You know, Action Bronson he's getting high. He's thinking about what flavors he's gonna go with, what flavor profile he's gonna put on the sandwich, and he's gonna concoct some crazy shit. I think they got the wrong person to represent McDonald's.
Yeah, I just think you know, obviously Travis Scott, he's a massive artist, and I think that's what it was. They had the money to spend, and you know, they spent it on Travis Scott.
I'm not impressed with the sandwich. It's a lame ass sandwich. It was a lame ass promotional deal.
Well, you guys heard it here first. It's a lame ass burger.
It's a lame ass burger. My burger's a better burger, believe me. Put some fries in that bitch. That's the slogan too. Put some fries in that.
Well, we just got our title for the episode, so.
Last thing is, did you see his merch? Because he's putting out McDonald's merch.
Well, I know McDonald's has merch you can buy.
Yeah, no, I think, I'm not sure if it's him or McDonald's or who's releasing it, but apparently like there's a McDonald's Travis Scott merch, and it's like expensive. Like pants are like $50 some odd dollars. Like it's expensive for some McDonald's like logo on your body. I would never wear a McDonald's logo on my body. Actually, I have once in college. I bought this like McDonald's shirt from a thrift shop thinking it was cool, and I would like wear it because I thought it was like making a statement. But like I'm not. Yeah, I'm way past that. I'm not wearing McDonald's logo on my body. And if that catches on, I've like lost all faith in humanity.
Again, I mean, they have a store you can buy stuff on. So
Jesus.
Yeah.
All right, what else we got?
Cool. Lastly, on the news front, we have Joe Budden podcast. They've been in the news a lot.
Yeah, we got a lot of Joe Budden.
Like a lot.
Where do we begin? Where do we want to start?
Well, I think it all starts with the Spotify, them leaving Spotify.
Yep.
They're no longer with Spotify. I'm curious to see what happens, but they did not re-sign, and they didn't sign anywhere else. So
yeah, so Joe was kind of running his mouth, talking, you know, typical Joe, talking a lot of shit. You know, I guess he started seeing kind of the playbook on Spotify's end. You know, he kind of said F this, and you know, kind of went rogue a little bit and started talking shit about Spotify while episodes are still airing on Spotify.
They're still airing. I mean, they're still like airing on Spotify the next few at least. But
I'm 100% with Joe. I'm 100% with Joe.
I mean, me too. I mean, you built your own platform. Like you did it without Spotify for years.
Yeah.
You know, so it's your baby. You know, I definitely get it. You know, even for Grindhouse shit, you know, I feel the same way. This is our baby, and I wouldn't want to give that up to anybody else. So I just think like he doesn't want to give his IP away. And I think that's what they wanted to do. Spotify at least, like to try to
and they're
get
not
that
showing
IP.
the right numbers. I think they want to sign them all to like 360 deals, according to him. They want to sign like him, Rory, and Mal to like 360 deals. They want to take like every piece of revenue income that comes in from like touring to like, you know, anything that they put out. They're just trying to reach their hand in the cookie jar and take everything Joe has. And you know, that's the type of shit that I feel like always has me wary of like working with a larger company, because they always want your intellectual property plus any other money you make that, you know, doesn't necessarily come from something that they've done. You know, like the touring stuff,
like
you know,
shit that
asking
they
for
have
money off
nothing
the
to do
tour.
with.
Yeah.
It's like you play a venue. What the fuck does Spotify have anything to do with that?
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing. Literally nothing. Yeah, so I mean, I definitely get it. I definitely get where he's coming from. I'm definitely curious to see where they go, if they go anywhere at all, really.
Yeah, it's coming up soon, actually. I think the September 23rd.
Yeah.
You know, somewhere around there, some date around there is like their last official episode with Spotify.
Yeah, I know they have like 3 or 4 episodes
Yeah.
left or something. But
So we'll find out soon what transpires from it. The interesting thing that's been happening lately that may or may not be associated with this whole Spotify debacle is the smear campaign that's been happening with Joe lately. So it all started with his ex, Tahiri, who, you know, tried to put that narrative out there, you know, again, that, you know, Joe is like a woman beater and he doesn't respect women. And that was like met with some like, it was kind of a big deal when it came out, you know, and Joe addressed it on the podcast, but then like, you know, I feel like it really like kind of came and went in terms of traction's concerned, you know, and then this thing came out, and I actually I don't know why, but it came out on my YouTube feed and decided to listen to it, and I had to stop it because like then there's like this leak that came out of Joe Budden having a private conversation with his you know, now ex Sin Santana, and it's literally a conversation that nobody should be listening to, and I felt gross just listening to it because I didn't know what it was. You know, the online it was labeled as something like Joe admitting to beating and dragging Sin Santana, and I was like, what? Interesting. Like, what the hell is this? And I clicked on it, and it was not that. It was literally a video of Sin Santana. It seemingly trying to like put Joe in this corner to have him seem like he's copping to, you know, that. It seemed like a setup more than anything, and it seemed like there was somebody behind like Sin like coaching her through it. So it just seems very sketchy. It seems like something like honestly something like a gold digger would put out. Not to say that this was Sin's idea, because I don't think it was. You know, Joe came out today and actually said something about it, which I'll get to later. But it just seems like somebody who's after Joe for money or clout would put out simply to get money or clout off of Joe. And obviously they were going through their own, like, you know, familial proceedings, so it could have been related to that. But like just listening to the few minutes of the clip that I got, it just seemed painfully obvious that Joe was having a conversation that he didn't know was recorded. He's literally crying because he's talking about just trying to see his kid, you know, and Sin like, you know, trying to like, you know, have like more restrictive hours for him to see his kid, and just him like just trying to be like a good father and trying to figure out how to make this work, you know, and Sin trying to like bring up this whole like, oh, like you remember when you beat and dragged me, and he's like he was completely unaware, even in the phone call, not knowing that it's being recorded. He's like what do you mean, like what are you talking about, dragged you, when did that happen? And she was like, oh, you were probably drunk when you did it, you know, so you don't remember it. It was just like, it was clearly her trying to set him up to make him look bad, and it did a terrible job of that.
The thing is, you can, you know, if you wanted, you could slice that up and make it your narrative, you know.
Oh yeah, and people have. And so I literally, when I heard, I knew what was going on. I knew it wasn't. Once I listened to enough, which is like a few minutes in, I knew it wasn't anything that like video, the headline of the video was stating, which is like Joe admitting to anything. It was somebody painting Joe in a corner trying to extort him for something. And it was terrible. I think it was like the most just it was gross how that came out. And I'm not sure, like at first I thought Sin leaked it, but then I guess Joe came on live today and said that apparently like Sin's like old former manager Rocky leaked it, you know, because she was like Sin's manager, and I don't know what happened between the two, but apparently like Rocky has been like known to be kind of shady and just kind of a untrustworthy person. And I guess like both. I mean, Joe has come out and said it was her that kind of leaked it because she's the one that had access to it. You know, so at first I kind of blamed Sin for it, and I still sort of do because she got herself in that situation of, you know, put literally like the father of her kid in that situation where now he has to respond to more of these rumors. Just had the whole Tahiri thing come up. The next week now this is being put out. It's definitely making Joe look bad, you know. And then hours later, you know, or around the same time, this affidavit leaks where Joe's like now jerking off his dogs.
But they literally took it off a clip that, you know, like that's the thing. Like you have to be a fan of the Joe Budden podcast to like understand their humor. That's how Joe makes jokes. He's the raunchy one. He like that's his bag, man. That's what he does. He wants to get a reaction out of like Maul and you know, and Rory and Parks, you know, that's what he does.
In the affidavit, I'm not sure when the affidavit was put out, but it did state that, like, you know, Sin, like, witnessed, like, jerking the dog off, and that, you know, he was like, yeah, my dog doesn't see any, like, bitches, so, you know, he needs to get the sexual frustration out of there or something like that. But again, it's like putting out that video and then following that up with, like, the whole dog thing, it comes off a way. And after that, I had a hard time believing anything that
it definitely does.
And like the opposing camp to Joe. I also think it's interesting, the timing of all this thing, given the fact that this happened literally right after, you know, Joe went on the offensive against Spotify. I'm curious to know if like somebody in that office is like, you know, giving a bag to like any dirt that they can like get on Joe, and this is kind of what's been going on. I don't know. I know a couple people had that theory. Actually, Royce the 5'9" came out, and you know, this is a podcast called "It's Just My Opinion" with one of the hosts, Isaac Hayes, coming out and saying, so Joe Budden turns down a new Spotify deal because he's been steadfast about owning his own content, and less than a week later, there's an entire smear campaign against him. So if you can't own him, destroy him. Anyone participating in this evil and whack is whack. I'm sorry, I'm butchering this. Anyone participating in this is evil and whack. And then, you know, Royce, you know, kind of like retweeted it, said that it's so evident. And I'm curious to know if that's actually what's happening here. You know, I think about like the whole Tekashi thing that happened with you know, his release, of the fact that, you know, he went from 120,000 copies sold to like having it drastically reduced to 50,000, then reduced again to 35 to 40,000. And all this happened because of bundling deals, which was apparently still an acceptable practice in the music industry until like Tattletales, like the single came out, and then they said to crack down against that. And then they said they were going to do it, I guess, like sometime in October, but then the Tekashi album came out, and then they magically decided to do it now. So, like, I definitely feel like when the powers that be have something against you, you know, they'll use it against you. And I feel like maybe Spotify wasn't too happy about Joe going rogue, and, you know, they've given bags out to people who can produce any sort of smear campaign type of content to make Joe look bad, or to have people potentially cancel Joe.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, man. It all just seems like it lines up too weirdly, like close to everything. Like, yeah, it's weird. But yeah, I'm definitely curious to see what happens, man. And you know, hopefully this shit gets figured out. Hopefully, you know, Joe Budden's not touching dogs. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It's like, all just
on that specific allegation. I'm like a 60-40 on that one.
Yeah.
Everything else I don't believe, but that I can see.
But he said it.
He might have jerked off a dog once. I don't know.
Oh man.
All right, you want to get to album reviews? Are you texting right now? I'm gonna have to reach across the screen and whoop your ass if you're texting right now.
Don't be calling me out about texting, all right?
I see your eyes, brother.
No, you can't. I shut off my video.
All right. Well, put your phone down and take us to the next topic.
All right. So that concludes all the news. Let's get into albums. Do you want to go local? Do you want to?
Let's start with the mainstream stuff, because we have two to break down first from the mainstream. So first things first, because it came out first, is the Nas King's Disease album. Woo!
I like that album.
Oh,
that's great.
That's Nas. That's Nas in a nutshell. That's like the Nas that you want to come out. I didn't like. A lot of people hate Nasir. A lot of people was hating on the album. I thought it was a good album.
It was okay.
It was a good album. It's not nothing I'm like running back to listen to, but I thought it was a good album. I think this album is like a Nas album though. This is an album like that you would expect of a rapper of Nas's caliber to put out, and it did not disappoint. I'm not ready to say it's like people have been saying it's better than like one of his best releases. I'm not saying that. I think it's not one of his best. I mean, maybe it may go like top 4, maybe top 5, maybe, but like it was.
I mean, I wouldn't go there, but it definitely is good. Yeah, man, like definitely needed this album, dude. 2020, man, we're getting some good albums. What's your favorite song on the album?
Very easily the song with AZ, Foxy Brown, and Saigon. I forgot what that album was, the song was called, but that was far and away my.
It's called Full Circle.
Full Circle. So yeah, that song is my favorite on the album by far. I think that song. My reason being, I think AZ specifically on that song took it to a different level. I mean, not a different level, because AZ is just like a top tier rapper, but it was really good to hear him again and like have him be just as lethal as he's always been. I think he put out the best verse on that song, and it may have been the best verse on the whole album, to be honest with you. And I still go back just to listen to that song just for his verse. Like, he really did his thing on that record.
27 Summers, I think, is my favorite song on there so far. And I've only listened to it twice through. So, yeah, man, also he put out this album, like his like company Mass Appeal put it out. So obviously I know his last one came out. Oh no, I for some reason I thought it came out somewhere else, but his last album also came out on Mass Appeal, but I think it was distributed by Def Jam. So I think it had some deal with Def Jam or something like that, but that one. But but I think this one is strictly like from Mass Appeal. So
word, yeah, no, this album was really, really good. I mean, there's no song that is bad on the album, in my opinion.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of really strong songs, a lot of really dope collaborations, and like I said, like it was really good to hear the Firm again on a track, and just how good it was. That kind of got me excited, because it brought me back to like, just like loving AZ and listening to his albums, and like how I've always appreciated. I love AZ's got like a rap voice that I've always loved. Like it's timeless in my opinion, and just to hear him be as lethal as he was on this track, on the Full Circle track, was just amazing. So yeah, shout out to AZ, shout out to Nas, because that like it did not disappoint at all.
Yeah, so definitely good album, definitely recommend checking it out. Let's jump to the Big Sean album, Detroit 2. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
There were some songs that I liked on the album. I thought some songs were pretty good. I can't think of any off the top of my head. I think like the third song I liked. To be honest with you, I didn't love the project. I actually thought, and I Decided is like my favorite Big Sean album, and that one I guess isn't as well acclaimed as maybe his other releases, but I think I Decided is probably my favorite Big Sean album. I think it's really good. There's a lot of bangers on that. I think it was very vulnerable on that album. this album, I think he's vulnerable, and there's some good songs on there. It just didn't really hit me the way
Yeah, he definitely like he definitely like opens up in the album a lot. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I think I was just expecting more from it.
Yeah.
Like I just like it was kind of like waiting for something to happen, but it didn't happen.
Yeah.
I would say like my favorite song was the one with Nipsey Hussle. Deep Reverence was the song. Actually, and I actually like the song with Post Malone as well, called Wolves.
Yeah.
It's funny. I feel like Post Malone actually sounds a little different on it. Like, yeah, his voice. Like, I actually when I first listened to it, I actually had to like double check to make sure it was like Post Malone because it kind of sounded like him, kind of didn't. But yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, like the album, it was okay. It was like I don't know if
I don't think I
it's
had like a
something.
standout favorite track on the album, but you know, I think there were some good songs on the album. I thought that the Friday Night Ciphers, that was a dope track. I didn't like, to be honest with you, I didn't like that song like a lot. I thought it was a cool concept more than I liked the song. Just having a lot of all the Detroit rappers on one track come in and like spit some bars, I thought that was amazing. You know, a lot of Detroit rappers, you know, T Grizzly, 42 Doug, Eminem. You know, there's a lot of
Had some great features.
rappers was on that. And I thought that was the coolest shit because, like, yeah, obviously, you know, I'm big into that collective kind of like support each other type of like environment, especially in hip hop. Like, I feel like that, like, you know, putting everybody that's from Detroit on one track is definitely a really dope collective concept that I hope that other, you know, hip hop towns and communities kind of do. I'm excited. It made me excited actually because we heard a track recently that we can't really talk about. I don't think it's not out yet, but we heard a track recently with some Lin rappers that was kind of like reminded me a lot of the Friday Night Cypher song. And to be honest, the Lin song, in my opinion, was much better.
Yeah.
Because they're like playing off each other. They're kind of like bouncing in and out of each other's lines. It's much more well connected. It didn't sound like with this one, with the Friday Night Cyphers, it sounded like, and it's probably with the kids because of Corona, but like it sounded like a lot of those people kind of recorded their own verses separately, you know, and then they just sort of added into one pot. You know, I still, like I said, I still think the concept is great. You know, I just didn't love the track as much as I love the concept for the track. And but yeah, this Lin song that we listened to was like, yeah, it's definitely a banger, and it like just the way that each artist was playing off of each other. It was like you know, like a more polished version of the Friday Night Cyphers thing. So hopefully we can talk about that track more when it comes out. But that's all I'll say about it.
Yeah, no, I definitely, and I can't wait for people to hear it. Yeah, song's dope. So.
All right, you want to get to our last? I believe this is our last topic.
Yes.
So we finally came around to listen to Now You See Lowe's project. What's it called again? It's let's see. Nothing Ever Ends. Nothing Ever Ends. Sorry, I completely forgot. I'm like spaced out right now. Nothing Ever Ends. But yeah, we got around to listening to that. I think Now You See Lowe's released it in July, and I really enjoyed it. Honestly, I really enjoyed it. It's I think the Groove Gods. Shout out to the Groove Gods. I think they've been kind of like working on like putting like the past year like putting stuff out, and I've been following them since last October, and it's been awesome to see like Now You See Lowe's like progression and the content that he's been putting out. And this album, you know, there's like some really good songs. Like Abyss, the music video for Abyss is out, so check that out.
That's my favorite song
on the album.
Yeah,
I'm glad that they shot a video. They probably felt the same. That's probably one
song
of the
slaps
on the album because it slaps, and the video for it's high energy like the song is, and so I think it's probably both of our favorite tracks on the album. But I think I really liked about this album, and I hope I'm not offending anybody with the comparisons or anything like that. But like, I really liked the fact that it's very melodic. It's a different, like when I think of a Lin sound, I think of something that's more boom bap, kind of New York sounding, because typically like a lot of the artists come from this area. kind of borrow that New York sound more.
For sure.
And you know, just that East Coast vibe type of sound. And I think the difference with Now You See Low is there's it's a much more melodic, dare I say, groove to it. You know, like
for
that's
sure.
what they call themselves groove gods. The music is much more groovy and danceable, and just like kind of like the energy is like is higher. This kind of reminded me of like if like Lil Uzi, like that Lil Uzi type music, but with a better rapper, you know, than Lil Uzi Vert rapping over this type of groove. And maybe like their sound is more influenced by like kind of the Atlanta vibe, because Atlanta music tends to be much more melodic and much more groovy and danceable, so I'm curious to see what Now You See Low's influences are and reasons who produced the album, what their influences are, because this is a much more groovy, danceable.
The sounds are different, you know. You get a very like, I guess like a sort of spacey vibe to it, like a lot of the beats, like a lot of synth type sounds. Yeah, man, it's super cool, super original. So yeah, definitely curious to see like, you know, what else he drops. Yeah, dope album. Definitely check it out.
Such a reasons for producing. I think he produced every song on the track, man. That's like you know, no wonder that like the whole album has a consistency to it, has a consistent sound to it. And the cover art too is pretty dope. Like it's like a cartoon cover art with like you know, being, and it probably kind of like you said, spacey, and it's like a very spacey kind of cover art. But yeah, man, that album was awesome. It's great to see. And you know, we're talking to our buddy Wes a little bit, and he was just talking a little bit about Now You See Low, and you know, he talked to us about like, you know, the fact that like he mentioned that you know, Reasons and Now You See, they're very like close, you know, as collaborators and as friends, and he was just talking about like sort of like a little bit about their process and how like crazy Reasons is with like you know, how his love for you know, producing and making beats and stuff like that. So you know, hopefully we can get in Now You See Low here and get a conversation going with him about, you know, his album and sort of like Groove Gods and what they're up to, because I'm you know, really happy, you know, with this release and hoping, you know, more comes our way with that group.
Definitely. And yeah, I'm definitely just waiting for more stuff from them. And yeah, it's dope. And you know, I just love that they're just doing their own thing. Like it's not like they're not trying to like take a sound from anybody. It's like they're just like making whatever they want to make and do their own sound. So
yeah, they definitely have a different vibe that they contribute to, like the whole Lin hip hop. You know, I'm loving it because we're getting like a nice variety of music all coming from the same area. You know, different sounds within hip hop, and I'm absolutely loving it.
It's like a buffet of hip hop.
It really is. So yeah, so shout out to Now You See Low. Shout out to Reason. Shout out to Groove Gods. Really good release. If you guys don't know, check it out. Check out the video for Abyss. Yeah.
Cool. Also, that concludes the episode. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Yeah, for sure. Show us some love, man. We definitely need it. We always forget to mention this in the beginning, but we definitely would like more support from the community. You know, because our whole thing is we're bringing, you know, artists within the community to you, so you can know who's out there and what to listen to, and you know, who to support out here. You know, so it would be a lot to us if you supported us by subscribing and liking and just sharing what we do.
Definitely. Also buy some merch or something.
Yeah. If you want to, you can buy some merch. It's on our e-store. What's the URL for that, Critter?
You can find it on grindhouserecordings.com.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys. We'll see you next time.